Hello and welcome to TrishRockTV, an energy shift, changing energy, shifting perceptions. This week it's my great honor and pleasure to bring you the insightful Patricia Hueneke. Patty says she's on a great journey of discovery of deeper connection to her true spirit and soul, and has taken many with her over the past 30 years of healing work with meditation, herbs, crystals, kundalini awakening, pranic, chakra, color and karma healing, mediumship, and deep intuitive listening from her great heart to your great hearts. She is the author of Living in the Golden Light and creator of the 38 Golden Light Plant Healing Essences. Patty is also the custodian of the Crystal Light Healing Bed in Canberra, along with being a meditation teacher, spiritual development teacher, and associate pastor at the Spirituality Church of Canberra. Patty says, the deeper I connect with my own heart, knowing the more I thrive. I am still in healing practice after 30 years in my Golden Light Energy Healing Centre. Every day brings the newness of the now moment of spirit. I feel myself ever moving forward in the evolution of my soul. I love to help others with their soul evolution. I live in material comfort and abundance. I am grateful for everything and everyone surrounding me here on my life path on earth. I know that I am continually called to face my shadow aspects, bringing them to the light of my life experience, assisted by spirit. I would love you to experience being in this flow of life more and more by shifting your energy from your head to your heart with your breath. And you will really feel the difference when you do, and you can watch your life flow again. So it's my absolute pleasure to introduce you to my beautiful friend, Pati Hueneke. Welcome, Patty.
Thanks very much, Trish.
Welcome, welcome. And just that last little section that I read out there, you are actually going to show us later on in our time together how people can experience that. So I'm looking forward to that.
Thank you. Thank you.
You've certainly been doing this work for a long time, Patty, and it's interesting, isn't it? You speak to anybody who is in healing work. It's all about our own healing as well, and by practicing that, we can better help other people. So it's been a really big journey for you, and you're so accomplished and deeply connected with all of the modalities that you use, and you really do heal people on a very deep level.
Yes, I've found over the years that as I heal myself out of necessity, it seems, in life, that healing automatically flows on to healing others.
Absolutely.
And that's been very humbling for me.
Yes, yeah. And so the first thing let's talk about is, what happens when we live mostly from the monkey mind. And I think that, the bulk of the population lives from this monkey mind, and we really let our external and our thoughts and emotions about the external really rule how we live in each moment. So what are your thoughts on that?
Well, my experience has been that when that happens, things are just going round and round and round in your head, and there doesn't seem to be any end to the worry and to the cycle of your thoughts. It's very hard to sort of break that cycle of the thoughts going round and round and round in your head, like the monkey mind often does. So when you're living from that headspace, you can start to feel very anxious. You can start to actually get depressed. You can start to feel a little disconnected from your spirit and from your true self. And you seem to be always living in either the past or the future, projecting on the future, rather than being in the now moment and being present and actually being in your power. So living just from the monkey mind creates a lot of problems for people, and they feel that disconnect then from their heart space, from their knowing, from their intuition, even from their instincts, you know, their instinctive knowing, like animals have. And they start to see everything. You can start to see everything then in black and white, and everything's either or. Nothing's sort of this and, it's always either or. And I know I've been there, so, and I sometimes still go there, so it's really, well, it's a hellish place to be, actually.
It is, and it's interesting when you can recognize when you're there, and that's the awareness, isn't it? Because the other thing the monkey mind does is stops that beautiful connection with spirit and our intuitive senses.
Yes, and you start to sort of overthink everything. You start to, well, you can get a headache too.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know, you're in that space. And our nervous system gets really frazzled. So connecting with your breath and going down into your heart space gives you a totally different view on life. So, yeah. The monkey mind is what it is, you know, it's a monkey mind. And often people feel that they feel sort of very clever when they're in that space, because monkeys are quite clever.
Yeah.
And they're sort of trying to work out all the possibilities and all the computations of things. You know what I mean? They're sort of, oh, if this happens, then that'll happen, and this will happen, and that'll happen. And, oh, as soon as something comes in there that throws a spanner in the works of what's supposed to be happening, they're thrown. You know, you get thrown, don't you? You get totally... Oh,
absolutely.
And it's not working out the way I thought it would.
and I've just got this picture in my head now of a whole cage full of monkeys going absolutely crazy with that. That's what happened.
And I mean, we all fall prey to that, don't we, when we're living just in our heads? And it's only when we get sick of doing that, because we just can't bear it anymore, being in that monkey mind state, that we do something. You know, we have the awareness that there must be something more to life than this, and then as soon as we see that there must be more to life than this, more to life than this happens. Yeah.
We can change it. That's it. And what's you know, how can we escape this busy headspace thought cycle? I know you've mentioned breath. So this is one of the ways that you help people escape that madness?
Yes, you can. Breathing, concentrating on your breath, because breath is your prana, your life force.
Yeah.
And focusing on your breath immediately brings you into the now moment and into your present, right? Also, I found that it's very interesting when you actually ask yourself something about a problem, of how you could do this or what you need to know, and you do it from the headspace, you get a certain answer. Then, if you actually, with your breath, like drop down into your heart space, like in a lift, you know, dropping down into the heart space, and rest there for a minute and ask the question that you want to ask then, the answer sometimes is totally different.
Yeah.
It's more expansive. It takes in more possibilities. It's a more loving way, a more gentle way of looking at the world. Yeah. So, and then comparing that answer that you get from your mind and the answer that you get from the mind in your heart is actually quite, it's you know, it's quite enlightening to experience that.
Yeah. And the other thing also, if you're, and you'll find this too and talk people through it, if you're trying to find that solution in the same mind that's creating the problem, you really won't find the best solution. It's actually stepping out of that. That's where that insight comes, and that beautiful deeper connection. And that's where the answers are. That's where the answer is.
And you sometimes get quite surprised that the answer is quite different when you come from the heart space. Quite different. And it's sort of you feel about it of feeling good, of feeling peaceful, of feeling calm, of feeling, oh yeah, I know, I can do that. Oh yeah, I hadn't thought of that before. Oh yeah. That sort of, those sort of thoughts start to arise. And you sort of feel that you're more in the flow of life then, the flow of energy.
Yeah. It presents you with different self-inquiry questions, doesn't it? It presents you with different options, because when you're in that headspace, you're just trying to logic your way out of it, and it just doesn't work.
You never get out of it. It's like being in a cave. It's like being, as you say, with all those monkeys.
That's it.
It's part of that same sort of thing to you all the time, and you think, oh, why is my mind telling me that same message all the time? You know, it doesn't make sense. But we seem to think that that's where we need to think from. Most people, and I know I can go there at times too, most people think from that space, from the mind.
Yeah.
Meditation helps. I found meditation really helps, because meditation starts to get you, not just mindfulness, because that's important. It's an important step in meditation, mindfulness.
Yeah.
But it's about dropping into your heart space and actually sitting there in the stillness, in the silence.
Yeah.
So for some people, that's quite scary, actually, to be in that silence.
And what actually happens when we drop into that heart space, Patty? What happens within the body and our mind when we go there?
Well, when we go there into the heart space, we start to feel still. So we start to relax, right? Our nervous system starts to draw in our senses from the outside world into that inner space. And that inner space, of course, is our connection to the universe, to the all-knowing, to the heart of Mother Earth, to the heart of everything. That's why we call it the heart. It's our connection to the life force, actually, in the heart, because we know when our heart doesn't go anymore, well, we leave this earth plane, don't we?
Yeah.
So we're connecting to our source, right, to the source energy. And the source energy sees things very differently from the mind. The source energy sees things from the viewpoint of the soul and the bigger picture, not just that particular scenario, that case scenario. So we start to feel still, right? Once we start to feel still and not sort of panicking around, we open ourselves up to our own wisdom, our own knowing, which we all have in that heart space.
Yes.
So it's a feeling of coming home to yourself. It's a feeling of a knowingness that's very sure. You know it for sure when it comes from that heart space. You don't doubt it. You see life from a sort of a broader perspective, but you also see your place in it. So, and what you're doing in that broader perspective. And it tends to bring about solutions to your problems that are well, it's hard to say, but they sort of seem to make more sense. And they seem to take other people into account and the whole situation into account, rather than just your way of seeing it. You see things more clearly. You actually see things more clearly. You're not just in your own space.
Brings a lot of peace, doesn't it? And it's kind of like looking at you in a situation from outside of yourself.
Yes, yes. You don't take things so personally anymore.
Yes.
It's not about you. It's not about some sort of a personal vendetta that person that you're not getting on at work with has against you or anything like that. That it's showing you something.
Yeah.
Right? That situation of, say, that person you're not getting on with at work. That person is actually showing you something about yourself. And as soon as you make that energy shift of not taking it personally, and seeing it like that, you think, oh, that's interesting. They're showing me about what I could do. I learned this first actually when I was teaching. When you're teaching teenagers, right, they're very insightful and they don't actually put up with any bullshit.
Yeah, they won't. They'll call you on it.
You're trying to teach them something that they don't want to learn or in a way that they don't want to learn. They play up.
Yeah.
They get naughty. You have discipline problems in the class.
Yeah.
So it was my first year of teaching, I know, years ago. I realised that, wow, if I don't do something about this, I'm going to have hell on earth in this classroom. I'm going to start looking at what those students actually want and how I can actually teach them in a way that they can respond rather than from what I think they should know.
Yeah.
So that was a big shift. And this is the sort of thing that, just to keep the peace actually, because otherwise I was going to have a really hard time. So, and it's the same with people. We start to have a really hard time with people when we're forever thinking about, you know, where we're at rather than where they're at and how we're interacting. So coming from the heart also helps with relationships, of course. Yes. It's relating to people, right? And it's through relating to people that we actually start to grow and have insights and develop personally, spiritually, our soul development, etc. It's through those relationships.
Absolutely.
So you know, not relationship
not taking things personally is it's such a big breakthrough has been for me, and I know the clients I work with, it's a big breakthrough for them too, because taking things personally is what causes so much of this monkey mind. And to step out of that and just kind of say, well, because, you know, it's not only people and other people around them that some people take personally. I mean, even just getting all the red lights on the way to work, some people take that personally, right? They think it's a personal vendetta from the universe. But when you can actually...
Standing in line in the supermarket, you know, why am I in this huge queue? Man! When you go drop down into your heart space, you think, oh, this happened to me one Easter when I went shopping on the day before Easter or something. There were so many people at the supermarket, huge queue. And I thought, oh, my poor feet, my back, oh, what am I going to do? Oh, you know, your mind goes, oh, this is so terrible.
I'll never get out alive.
You know, catastrophic thinking. And then as soon as you drop into your heart space, you start to think, oh, well, I know it happened to me. I thought, oh, well, I'll just sort of, you know, have a little quiet time while I'm here. And
yeah. and when you step into that energy,
the lady in front of me who started talking to me and who started, we had this great conversation.
And you probably got through the queue a lot quicker too, Patty.
All of a sudden it was my turn.
And you just think,
so as soon as I let go of the mind and went into that space of acceptance, actually, it's acceptance when I think about it.
Yeah.
Acceptance of, well, I can't change this. I can't take my trolley of stuff back because I need this for Easter. I'm getting visitors, so I need this stuff for Easter. I've got to stay here. I better make the best of it. So as soon as you get into that space, you then have
a calmness, isn't there?
And the energy, as you say, the energy changes, and a positive result happens. You know, like I had a really nice conversation with this lady in front of me. So
yeah, absolutely.
It's a very magical process in a way, isn't it? And you talk about the red lights. When I go to the red lights now, at first, of course, it always flashes in your mind, oh, damn, you know, I've got all the red lights and I'm going to be late.
Yeah.
If you just take those red lights as a chance to, I can just rest here a bit.
Yeah, I always see it now as a real message, because sometimes, especially with the red lights, actually, sometimes I can go, on quite a long journey and get all the green lights, and I'm like, wow, I'm really in flow today. Thank you, thank you. And then other days I get all of them, bam, 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 and I think, okay, this is a sign for me to stop and breathe a bit and
Yeah,
get into a better energy.
yeah. We
So,
get very impatient, you see. We get very impatient. That's the thing.
absolutely.
Right? Things happen straight away.
Yeah.
I think impatience is a
That's
big,
it.
actually Dr. Bach, the flower essence developer, the Bach flower essence, as you may have heard of it. The first remedy he actually made was called impatience, and impatience is a flower.
It is a flower, yes.
Yeah, and he said that's the first, and it's in the rescue remedy as well, along with other others. But impatience, he says, the first thing that happens actually when we have a heart attack is we feel very impatient, right?
Oh.
Very, why is it happening now? You know, that impatient thing.
Yes.
Also, when we get a shock, we feel very impatient. It all has to happen now.
Yep.
If we're in shock. So impatience is a big learning to have patience with yourself.
Yeah.
And that gets you into your heart space as well, to just let go of that time and that urgency about things and just drop into the heart space. It starts to make you feel like, you know, there's time. I've got all the time in the world. You have a different outlook on time. Time seems to just be time then, and not something that you have to fight against. You know,
it's about being in the moment, isn't it? Because that impatience is about the past or the future, and it's not being in the moment.
Coming into your presence, and you immediately feel stronger in yourself. You immediately feel more sure of yourself. You immediately feel more relaxed, and people around you notice it. I mean, when you're all over the place, I mean, sometimes I am too. My husband says to me, you know, you're all over the place. You know, go meditate.
Come back, Patty.
I'm looking forward to this.
So, would you like to lead us in an exercise to bring us all back to our heart space? I'm sure the listeners would love it. So,
yes. Is it time for that now, do you think? Yeah? Have we spoken enough, have we? Time to get down to the action.
Yeah. And after we do this, I want to speak to you about your beautiful essences that you create and your beautiful healing center. So let's do that. So if this will be a really beautiful way of showing people how they can really center. Yeah.
Okay. Well, just relax then. Let your body just, wherever you are, wherever you're seated, just relax. You can even lie down to do this if you want to. You can close your eyes if you want to, or keep them open and just focus on a particular place or a candle flame or whatever you're used to when you go into meditation. That's fine. And the first thing you could do is to just focus on your breath. I mean, you're breathing all the time, but just focus on your breath and breathe out very long, releasing your breath completely, right to your belly and a bit more. Just releasing the breath. Let it all release. And then just focus on the natural flow of your breath as it comes in and as it comes out. If you like, you might have an intention of asking yourself something that you'd like to know right now. And for the answer to that, on your own self. But if you don't want to, just keep focusing on your breath to get the feel of how it feels to be in your heart space and out of your mind. And drop again further with the breath into the region around your heart. That space around the heart. You might like to see the colour green around your heart. Briefly, for some clearing and healing. And also some pink energy around your heart, the colour pink. Keep focusing on your breath as it comes in and out, in and out. And you might like to focus on the golden light around your heart. See your heart space enveloped in a beautiful golden light. You feel yourself with your breath going deeper and deeper into your heart space, into the sacred cave of your heart. See a beautiful cave there. The cave is sort of lined in a darkish velvet sort of feel, a velvety dark place. And in that velvety dark place, the sacred cave of your heart, you see a small flame, like a candle flame. This is the light of your heart that we all have. As we become still, the light becomes still as well. The light stops to flicker and becomes very still. Now see yourself seated in your own heart. You, yourself, seated in a beautiful space, velvety space, like a seat, in the cave of your own heart. You may be sitting opposite this beautiful candle flame, this light, this still light. And from this space, you might ask yourself that same question that you had in your mind before. You have the awareness that you're asking yourself that question from the mind in the heart. From that still place of you seated in the cave of your own heart, seeing the light of your own heart. And don't expect the answer straight away, just ask the question. It may just be, what do I need to know right now to feel more peaceful in my life? Or it may be a specific problem that you're having that you need a solution to. And as you sit there, you notice that the stillness of your breath starts to awaken the flame, the candle flame, even more. The flame starts to grow. The breath is fanning the flame of your own heart, and it starts to grow. And you notice that it's very warm, but it doesn't burn you. Just a beautiful warm feeling in your heart space and in your whole being, because you are there, sitting there in your heart. And as it grows, the light in the cave of your heart starts to become brighter and brighter until it lights up that whole cave. It becomes very light and bright. You feel your heart space expanding with that lightness and brightness of your own flame, until it starts to move beyond you into your whole being, your whole physical being, your emotional being, beyond you, connecting you with the heart of your soul, the heart of Mother Earth, and the heart of all that is. Just keep bringing your awareness back to the breath. You feel as though your whole being is lit up with this beautiful golden light. It feels very soft, gentle, yet very powerful. It feels very peaceful. The body is very relaxed. Your mind is very relaxed. And from this beautiful, peaceful place, listen. Listen to your answer. Whatever comes, just accept it. Being very gentle with yourself, having no expectations, just listening to your mind in the heart, your great heart, what it might be telling you. You may just sense something. You may hear something. You may even hear the song of your soul. You may see some colours. Whatever comes, just accept it. When you're doing this, you can just stay there for as long as you like. But today, taking everything you've experienced there in that sacred place of your heart with you, come back to seeing yourself seated in that seat in the cave of your own heart, and to seeing the candle flame again, the flame of your heart. And very gently thanking yourself, thanking all your spirit guides and helpers and teachers, and thanking your own great self. Focus on the breath again. Feel the physical body and the space around you, wherever you are. And gently come back to this space here and now. Wiggle your toes and fingers. And when you're ready with a big breath, just open your eyes. Oh, that was very nice. I feel very calm myself now.
Beautiful, Patty. Thank you. I feel like my resting heart rate has just halved.
Ah, yes. If you tend to get palpitations or get nervous, you could do something like that, couldn't you? To start to feel calm again.
Absolutely.
I also noticed that as soon as you do that, your voice sounds different too. You know, I mean, you have that connection with your heart and your throat chakra and your third eye, and the voice starts to take on a sort of a mellow sort of tone, doesn't it? Rather than that sort of tone when you're anxious or whether you're panicking or whether you're worried about something. Your voice has that sort of funny pitch, doesn't it?
And I mean that's a great exercise so if you're listening to this and you did that exercise, type in, comment, let us know how that felt for you. Let Patty know how that felt for you, and how you're feeling right now, if you're feeling just as calm as we are.
You feel calm, but at the same time you feel enlivened. It's a very strange feeling, isn't it? It's
interesting, isn't
calm,
it?
but it's not sleepy. It's calm but enlivened.
Yeah. And if you
clear.
are listening to this, you're more than welcome to watch the replay and do this again and again, and really become familiar with it, because then it's something you can drop into whenever you're feeling that tension or the monkey mind.
Yeah, it's especially powerful to just see yourself in the cave of your heart. Yeah. I remember that happening to me once quite spontaneously in meditation. And it was amazing because first I saw a person there, like in the shadows. And then the light, the candlelight illumined that person. And I thought, I wonder who that is. That person in the cave of my own heart. And it was me. I thought, oh my God, it's me. It's me. I was surprised to see that. To see yourself in that space.
Yeah, and it feels so beautiful and warm, doesn't it? It felt a little bit like, so I've been to the crystal caves here at near Byron Bay, and I sat in one of the amethyst castles. Yeah, and it just really felt so beautiful and warm like that, but really comfortable and soft like velvet. So really beautiful. Thank you. That was really beautiful. So I want to also just talk about your gorgeous healing center that you have. You've been there for quite some time now. It's got the most amazing energy, and the essences that you make, a lot of those ingredients you actually grow yourself in your beautiful garden there. So tell us a little bit about that for the people who haven't been to your healing center yet. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I first started this journey in my 30s when I got in touch with the earth again. So earthing yourself and getting in touch with the earth is a great way of healing. I had particular issues, health issues that I wanted to heal. The first thing I did was get out into the earth and garden, and I started growing herbs. I've since found out that I've had many lifetimes doing that, but at the time I didn't know that, of course. I just felt it instinctively. So getting in touch with your instinct is really important, and earthing yourself in whichever way comes to you. I mean, for me, it came with the plant kingdom. I went out and I started growing herbs. Then I thought, well, what am I going to do with these herbs? So I started using them for cooking. Then I started using them for making cheese. And then I found that the more I spent out in the garden, the more time I spent with the herbs, the more I started to get messages about what they do.
Oh, okay.
What they can do, they started talking to me. I started developing this sort of personal relationship with plants. Sounds crazy, but I know people have these experiences with trees and in nature and whatever. They may not always see it that way. And I started sort of just gazing at them, right? I suppose I was sort of meditating, although I didn't know it at the time. I just started gazing at the herbs, right? And when you gaze with that second attention, you find that, wow, you start to see different things, don't you? Yeah. Things seem to have auras and sort of you see the vibrant energy of things in the plant. So I started seeing that quite spontaneously, which was sort of blew me away at the time. And then I started learning about the medicinal qualities of the plants. And I connected with Kim Dudley at the Hierophant here in Canberra in the early 80s and started doing courses on herbs. And I became very, you could say, a bit OCD and obsessive about it all. I used to read nothing but herbal books, materia medicas, and that was my sole form of reading. So it brought me on a journey, and then I started studying with Dorothy Hall, with plants and herbs, and, you know, getting qualified in iridology and sort of seeing clients. This was, you know, probably about 1993. And then I started, the more people I came to my clinic, actually a lot of Polish people came first, which is interesting because I had my Polish, my father was Polish. Okay. So, and it's a bit of a tradition in Poland, and my mother was German, in Germany and Poland to use herbal medicines. And I since have found that my family has done a lot of that. Okay. So I started using them for healing, and often I would have to use my intuitive faculties to do that, I guess. So I started getting, you know, like someone would come to me, I'd look in their iris, and a plant would come to me. Like, this person needs this plant to heal whatever they need to heal. And then the feedback you get from your clients gives you the confidence to keep going, because I said, oh, I had a mighty good experience from that or whatever, you know, like, wow, that was amazing. So I started to see that there's real power in healing power in herbs and plants. It also brought me into spirituality, because I started to see the spirit of the plant. Then I started to get in touch through meditation with connecting more with my spirit as well. I started to learn Ayurveda and pranic healing, and in pranic healing we did a lot of cleansing of the chakras. Okay. And when I was cleansing the chakras a lot, as you know, the chakras, our energy centers, hold a lot of our, you know, personal story. Yes. Our Akashic record, our karma, our, you know, whatever. And it used to just spontaneously appear that something, you know, someone would appear and give them a message, like a grandmother or grandfather or relative or whatever. And I wouldn't say anything. Then afterwards, after the healing, they would tell me, and I would realize, man, I got the same message that they got. Or sometimes it would happen the other way. I would tell them, and then they would say, yeah, I got that message too. So it sort of gave me confidence in the spirit world, I suppose. It gave me confidence in what I was doing, because I had that feedback straight away from the client. And it also brought a lot of healing to both the client and to me. So I sort of progressed to that, and then, but I always kept my connection with the plants and whatever. And in 2003, I actually went to my Guru Maya Chidvilasananda's Siddha Yoga ashram. I've been following that path for 20 years or so at the time. And I had a wonderful experience there of my golden light being. I was in deep meditation, and all of a sudden this golden being appeared in front of me. Wow. And I was just shaking. Woo, I describe it in my book. Yeah. And I just felt like, I just said to it, who are you? And this golden light being just looked at me as I was a real dum-dum. Duh, you of course, who else? That's like that, like it was saying to me, you, that's you, and that's everybody, that's who we all are, in truth. So that blew me away, and I thought, what am I going to do with this? Because it started to come into me, that golden light, you know, and I started to merge with it more and more in meditation and everything. And it felt so lovely to be in that space. And I had all sorts of insights and whatever. And then, of course, to ground the energy, well, I thought I have to bring it into the plants.
Yeah.
So it's a long story, which I describe in my book, about how I developed the 36 golden light essences and how they can be used for karmic healing, right? I especially link them with the Ayurvedic system and with the Vedic system of astrology, you know, your time of birth in that system, which is a little different from Western astrology, and how you can use the plants to clear karma. And when people started to get them, we actually meditated on each of the 36 essences for a whole year with the group in the clinic. We made them, we did things with them, etc. And they started to have the most incredible insights as well. So combining that energy of the plants with the energy of the golden light, which is the life force really, with the sun energy within everything and everyone, including the plants, of course, and in all living things, it's helped me to ground the energy and to bring that sort of healing to people, I suppose. So I've been using them ever since, and people have had, you know, amazing results with them. So
because you
I decided to write the book.
You use all of those different elements to know what somebody needs, but you're also very intuitive about, you know, what people need to heal at that particular time, and I know that that has been the case for me when I've come to see you. You just know exactly which one of those essences and the herbs would serve me best at that time, and that's a lot of tuning in on your part and experience of all of those herbs. I think it's brilliant, and it's a really holistic kind of way that you help people at your healing center there, because you've got the crystal light bed, you've got your experience of all of those different modalities, you've got your essences, you use crystals and meditation, and people really have an experience there. And you know, I think it's brilliant, and there's not a lot of healing centers like it. Actually, there's probably none.
Think of it that way. I mean, I've just been doing one thing after another in doing what I'm called to do and whatever. But when I think of it that way and look at it in retrospect, that's why I said it's just sort of been such an amazing journey for me. And
absolutely. And Patty, for the people who don't live in Canberra, are you also able to do over the phone or, you know, online meetings like this to help people if they wanted to connect with you?
Yes, I do, and via Skype, but I mean, you could do it via Zoom or whatever method you use. It doesn't really matter. Wonderful. And I find distance healing works very well.
Yes.
I also have people who come for a Skype consult where they'll talk about where they're at and whatever, and you know, we can do healing that way. I will lead them sometimes in what I've done today.
Yeah.
Sort of a meditation.
Beautiful. Because energy has no boundaries. You know, energy works. So for the people in Canberra, though, please go and connect if you haven't already with Patty. All of her links will be here, so you can connect with her. And Patty is also one of the pastors at the Spirituality Church of Canberra. It's a beautiful church to go to. I'm really missing it, actually, not being there. It's you just leave with such a feeling of fellowship and community and peace. it's a really beautiful environment. So I'll put the links up to that as well.
And as Lucy Baker says, no guilt. No
guilt. Absolutely. No guilt. And a lot of healing.
No dogma.
It's a beautiful community. And if people wanted to get a copy of your book, would they just go to your website, Patti?
Yes, they can go to my website, and I think www.patriciahueneke.com is my website, but you'll be putting up that link, I think, won't you?
Yes, I'll have all that up there. That'll be amazing. So is there any last things you want to say to the people who are watching this?
Well, people are watching this. Actually, when it goes up, I would love some feedback on how they feel about this.
Yeah.
And of course, I would really like to make sure too that people start to have some sort of practical energy shift from this, right?
Yeah.
So that they live their lives more meaningfully and more peacefully and more powerfully. And from that loving space of the heart, and just see where that takes them and how their life changes as a result of that.
Absolutely.
As you know, and as I know, that it changes everything. And life just takes on a totally different dimension. I call it the fifth dimension because the golden light essences do vibrate to the fifth dimension, but it's that space of coming from that love element and also your own positive sun energy, right?
Yeah.
The sun energy, and coming into balance too with the masculine and feminine within you, and uniting that, and coming from that space of love for yourself, which then has an effect around you, because I've always said that whatever you do in healing and spirituality, if it doesn't have some practical results of improving your life, well, you're living in la la land, aren't you, if that doesn't happen?
Absolutely.
So that's always the proof of the pudding, isn't it? That something changes in your life. You've got
to have some tangible results for the etheric, and I believe
start to live like you teach in abundance more, right? Rather than in lack. You start to see things differently, and then it doesn't mean that you don't have downtimes. You do. Yeah.
But it's the awareness, isn't it? So for everybody listening, if you did have, let us know. Give us some feedback on what happened through that beautiful, heart connecting meditation that Patti did, and with all the other things also that you've learned here today. Give us some feedback and let us know what's shifted for you. That would be awesome. So, all right. Well, thank you so much for being here, Patti. It's been a pleasure, as always.
Yeah, thank you.
A pleasure. And I know that it's just been so insightful, what you've been speaking about. And I know that everybody listening would have gained some momentum forward from this. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you to all the listeners.
Yeah, beautiful. All right, well, thank you everybody for tuning in, and I look forward to seeing you next week on TrishRockTV. Bye for now.
Bye.